O te whaatalo whātu I le mai mua tāpoi mai o le tātua tunuu I le nei vaenga o le auli o le tātou teimi o lewa masalo lewa te le tasi ia ma o le tātou whaasalonga tu sa o le nei o whapena wina atu mai nei le maota ngasangasa I whanga alu. Mo le sila fia le tātou tunuu e pei o na whongai nātu I sa teimi o whāno le mātala noanga me mai tai whomai a Dr. Jean Anderson I le asu saa. O le so leo wha moe a mawaisi a wanoa e tala noa sui le autu stala. Mai le tātou Samoa News o le KHJ wha pe fo I malau televisi o le KVZK. Ma sui o komiti wha foi o le LBJ e tūsai foi o nisi o mata upu. Tūsai foi pe o na wha fonga iai le tātou tunuu e le ngata I le tūlanga pe o na iai le tātou suinga foi o le purenga o le tātou mauta ngase. Ia le ngata foi leo nisi o fuafua ngā ruma mau o le tātou komiti wha foi. Ia mole anga I luma ma le lei pe o le tautua le mauta ngase le tātou tunuu. La saula se taimi ia ona tu ina tu leo le tātou o le tātou whaasalonga le tai fono o le komiti whaafoe o le LBJ le awhionga I le adi fomai a Dr. Malo Maua tu le senga ma le komiti whaafoe mo le whongaino le tātou whaamoe le niaso. Talo whalawa and a very pleasant good afternoon. It's now 1 o'clock or 13 after 1 to be exact. This is KVZKTV and we're now live to you from the hospital here at Whangaalu as Dr. Jean Anderson mentioned on television on Sunday evening when she came over to speak about what happened last week. She mentioned specifically that today is a press conference, that there will be a press conference today with members of the local media. As you can see, we have Joyeta Whengai Mali'i here from the Samoa News, and we also have Tyra Whengai Mali'i who's representing KHJ, and of course myself from KVZK Television. As you can see, we also have members of our board of directors, so it's now time for me to hand over to the chairman of the LBJ Board of Directors, Dr. Malo Wamaua Tuyolasenga. Over to you, Chairman.
Kai mo le avongoa whakalo whaku o a ele mga kōl board pēr ka ko whaasoa le nganga I gilisi e whapaingo fiel ka ko whaasoa ngi aso. Welcome. Thank you for being here. And this is something way overdue for the LBJ, especially the Board of Directors, to be public like this. With me, of course, is the Vice Chair of the Board. To my right here is Dr. Ladua. He's the acting CEO. Next to him is Dr. Dimitri. He's been working with us for over close to 10 years. And next to us is Dr. Dimitri. He's been also working with us. He's been visiting when he can out of Hawaii and Hilo. To my left here is Dr. Shamway. He's our appointed acting CEO. You'll have a chance to introduce himself. And then, of course, the Vice Chairman, Dr. Anderson, and our legal advisor, Mr. Thomas Jones. Today's session, it's LBJ moving forward. I know there's been a lot of stuff on the media, but this, the focus, as I said, it's a mission and moving things forward. A statement has been issued out, and you have access to that. And I'll hand over to our acting CEO here to address, to introduce himself, and then our acting CMO here, Dr. Shamway.
Okay, thank you, Chairman. My name is Akapusi Lendua. I am the acting CEO of LBJ. I've been appointed by the board, and I would like to take this time to first say talofa to our viewers who are tuning in this afternoon, and also to thank Chairman of the board and our board of directors, acting Chief Executive Officer. I would like to also take this time to thank those that have served before us, those that have gone before us, serving LBJ and serving the people of American Samoa in this capacity and the work that they have done at this hospital. And the work that we are doing, we are just continuing the work that has already been done by those that have come before us. I would like to say here that there's a lot of work that needs to be done, as we have seen and heard and experienced ourselves with the delivery of healthcare on this island. So it is our role and it is our duty as leaders of our hospital to ensure that we do not only continue the work that has been done by our predecessors, but to improve and to lift up that standard to another level. As we acknowledge and thank them for the work that they have done, I would like to assure the public that we are here, healthcare of our people on this island, and to keep our objectives and our goal very clear with the mission that we have in this hospital, and that is to provide a comprehensive a care of high quality, safe, and one that is affordable to the people that we serve, that meets the needs of the people. And that is what our focus will be as we move forward from here, to make sure that, from the office of the Chief Executive Officer to the Chief Medical Officer, to all the doctors, the nurses, and to all the employees of LBJ Medical Center, to make sure that we meet that objective and we meet that goal to fulfill the mission that we have for this hospital, and that is to meet the needs of the people out there. To meet that needs, to provide health care that is of high quality, that is safe, and that is comprehensive, but one that meets the needs of our people. As I said, we know the needs that is out there, and we know that we have a lot of work to do, and we are going to work together in the hospital, and also we need the support of everyone. We cannot only do the work alone to improve healthcare on this island. We're going to do our best, from the office of the Chief Executive Officer to all the staff that work in the hospital. I would like to assure the public that we are trying our best, and we will do our best to provide that care, as I said, to meet the needs of our community, to meet the needs of the people, and to provide that quality, that safe, and that comprehensive health care that you need. So we're going to work together as a team, as a family here at the hospital, to try and, as I said, not only continue the work that we're going to do, to improve that and to lift the standard of care up to another level as we move forward from here. We cannot finish this work. This work has been done by those that have come before us. We are going to continue to do this work, and as we leave, this work will continue by those that come after us. But it is our job, as we have this opportunity that we have, it is our duty, it is our role, and it is our calling that we need to do the best that we can while we have this opportunity. So as we have this opportunity before us, as the acting Chief Executive Officer of LBJ Medical Center, and I've been given this role and this task to carry this out, I would like to assure the public that I will do the best of my ability of care that we should provide for the people that we serve. We need everybody's support here. We need to work together here as a family, and we'll assure that we will continue to do that here at LBJ Hospital. And we also need the support of everyone, our leaders, government leaders, our church leaders, our community leaders, and the members of the public, for us to work together and uplift the standard of care and work together to provide a care that is of high quality, comprehensive, and safe to the people that we are saying. Thank the board, chairman, thank the leaders, thank all those that are out there for supporting us and for supporting the work that has been done before, and we do look forward to continue to work with you as we move forward from here. Thank you very much, and whaftai. title.
Dr. Shimway?
I'm working on my Samoan talofa to our audience and to the media that's present. I appreciate the opportunity to at least introduce myself. I mirror the comments by Dr. Lindua. I'm grateful that he was willing to step into the role of the chief executive. I have found him a remarkable man of integrity because it's not an easy job for someone to step into this role. Dr. Lindua contacted me about this job about 5 months ago, and he and I have been quite involved in arranging my coming. I come from America, but previously to that, I worked in China for 3 years as a chief medical officer of a 11 hospital system, and I was based in Tianjin. The last media performance I was involved in was on national TV in China, and that audience was about 40 million people. So I'm really grateful to be in a little more gentle and kind and loving environment, and where also I can understand the language. Before that, I served as a deputy chief medical officer in Qatar, where we launched a 440-bed hospital. Coming to Samoa, brings back childhood memories of many good people that I know from Samoa. And I am touched by the goodness and the desire for people to take. We have a written statement that Dr. Lindua and I worked on this morning for several hours, and that will maybe serve as the basis, and Dr. Lindua has actually reviewed a lot of it. Yesterday, you already know that we launched the non-urgent clinics for acute care to help reduce patient waiting time and really increase access to care. We have about 12 physicians in the pipeline. We've approved today the opening of another 20 nursing positions and additional orderly positions. And then yesterday, Dr. Lindua and I met with 4 new physician candidates that will be going to the National University of Fiji, but under sponsorship from the governor's office and LBJ. And they will, of course, return after their training and provide years of service for the people of Samoa. We need to take care of immediate needs, but we also need to take care of the future needs of healthcare. And you know, one of the shifts that's happened over the last 20 years in Samoa is that many of the healthcare workers in Samoa 20 years ago were Samoan. But over time, there have not been as many people that either have not returned or they've received training and they've left. Anyway, we need to change that and have Samoan healthcare be delivered by Samoan doctors, Samoan nurses, or American Samoan doctors and American Samoan nurses. Not only is this right for you culturally, but it's right from a delivery of high quality healthcare because it allows it also perhaps in your native languages, so there's no misunderstanding. Again, when this job was offered to come as a consultant, what the job offer was changed over time. Clearly there's a need. I received a patient complaint letter from one of the kindest women I could imagine who had lost her baby. And lost her baby under the most trying and most difficult circumstances imaginable. I knew at that time that this is where I needed to come. Dr. Lindua used the language of a calling. I feel that here. The people of Samoa deserve better, and this can happen. but we have to work together. I am one mind and two hands. The board comprises of another 10 hands and another 5 minds. We have the governor's office, the lieutenant governor, we have the Department of Health, but if we're really going to provide high quality health care for the people of American Samoa, we have to do this in unity, and no one has all the answers, and I certainly don't have all the answers myself. But there is drive, there's determination, and an intense wish that we'd like to translate into real action, real improvement, and again, we will build on the people that have been here before. I'm grateful for the opportunity to talk. I know that you will have some questions, but these are some statements from today that I could leave with you as well. This is what's jointly drafted by our CEO and myself today, but also reviewed by the board. It is an accurate statement of what our desire is going forward. I thank you for your time.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Shamway. I'd like to give the opportunity briefly to Dr. Kareem and Dr. Oliansky to briefly introduce yourself. Dr. Kareem.
My name is Dr. Kareem Kozaim. I worked here for 3 years under contract through the National Health Service Corps, which is an excellent program that attracted doctors to communities like ours. I'm an OBGYN, like Dr. Shumway, so we have that in common. And then I've been coming back every year since then for a month to do essentially locum stints, doing surgeries, mostly laparoscopic surgeries that aren't always offered here routinely. And I want to thank the board and the chairman for their support, and I've been fortunate enough to have known them for some time, and appreciate having the chance to come back and serve the people and help our hospital. I think that's it.
I'm Dr. Orleansky, and my accent is from Soviet Union, where I finished my medical school, complete my United States medical licensing exam, and found a position here. And since 2014, I slowly grew up with the service here, and finally I'm at the point where I see the people who are determined and have a clear vision in mind how to improve the healthcare and what exactly steps going to be taken to achieve that. And that's where I decided to continue. I just signed my contract for another 2 years, and I would like to say thank you to my colleagues who are physicians, nurses, new board. I see there is a steady improvement from year to year, and now there is a tectonic changes, and I do love the changes because every single new step is leading to a proper direction where we are working for people and providing the health care. My wife just got the contract with the hospital on mainland, and unfortunately we are separated at the moment. However, the stories, how the patients are treated on mainland and what I see on my side internally, I think we are doing an excellent job. However, public sees it from a different perspective, but we do take care about our patients. And with the new upper management that supporting doctors and nurses, we will be able to provide better care for the patients. Just a little bit of a machinery going to be on our hands that we will be able to help people of American Samoa. Thank you, and Talof.
And Dr. Anderson and legal advisor, and then we'll open up for your question.
Just want to thank all of you media folks for being here, and we look forward to the future. And like we said,
There isn't much for an attorney to say with regard to this. I'm just here to support the board, and I'm available to the board and to the media to answer any questions they may have that I can answer.
Dr. Lindua, the statement says that there will be 20 new nurses. Where are we hiring the nurses from, please?
We are right now in the process of getting 2 nurses, and these nurses, they are from the Philippines but been working in Fiji, and they will be doing the recruitment drive for our nurses as of now. But those nurses that is in there, those are the positions. It's not exactly the nurses, but the positions that we have opened up to get those nurses from.
Is that the same with the 12 physicians?
With the physicians, we already have 12 physicians in line. We already processed the papers. He just arrived last night, and he is one of be arriving next week, Monday. And by the end of this month, towards first week of March, we should be getting all these 12 physicians.
And doctors are leaving. Can you tell how many doctors and nurses are leaving?
As far as the doctors is concerned, we have 2 doctors have left. Unfortunately, these doctors have not left. 3 doctors have left. 1 have left, gone back at the end of his contract, has gone back home. But 2 of the doctors that have left, fortunately, they have.
So overall, we have on board with the hospital, please?
We have 80 doctors altogether on board. That includes 10 dentists and 1 nurse practitioner. So medical staff overall, there are 80 altogether. So with these 12 doctors that are in the pipeline coming in, we expect that by the end of this month, towards March, or probably by the middle of March, we should be having these whole 92 doctors on board.
You know, I don't mean to bring up what happened in the past with the nurses versus the former CEO, but what was said in the newsletter really was disappointing for the nurses. In going forward, what kind of relationship do you anticipate to build with the nurses to ensure that they trust you and the other way around, and at the end of the day benefits the patients, us that come visit the hospital?
What we should do as leaders is to talk with our staff. In this case, we need to talk with our nurses and understand their concerns. As we understand their concern, listen to them, and you know, whatever we tell them that we will do as leaders, we have to deliver that, and that will earn their trust. So in whatever we want them to do, when they have our trust, because we do what we tell them that we will do, they will do whatever deliverables that we expect them to do. I would say that moving forward from here, that is what we're going to do as leaders. We're going to reach out to the nurses, understand what they go through, I understand their concerns, and we know how to deal with the problems and the issues that they have. And we're definitely going to address those issues that they have moving forward, so that they will gain our trust, and we will work together as one to deliver the health care that our people need.
Thank you, KVZK, of course. Thank you very much, Dr. Lindua. Congratulations to the chairman and, of course, the board for all the new changes. I just want to ask, because I've just got a question that has come through from our viewers watching, because this is live on Facebook as well as YouTube, and of course on channel 2 KVZK right now. I have a question here that just came up, and the question is, was Moifa'awo, I'm sorry to take you back. The question is, did he resign on his own term, or was he forced to remove? Perhaps Bucky can answer that question.
Yes, I can answer that. He did resign of his own volition. He was not forced to resign. No one can force you to resign. There was disagreements over management style and vision for the hospital, and that's really what led to the departure. The board was wanting to move in a new direction, and Bill graciously resigned his position to allow that new vision to take place.
Can I ask about the agreement that was, I believe there was an agreement between the board of directors and Moefa not to speak to the media, and yet he issued a press statement on the same day that leave it as is.
Disparaging LBJ, disparaging ASG in general, actually. It is not an uncommon clause in a situation like this to have a non-disparagement clause in your contract. And that existed in his employment contract and existed as part of the resignation as well.
Thank you. Those are some of the questions. Anyway, Dr. Landua, I know that you mentioned something about the after-hour clinic that we're opening across the road. Is the idea to ease the amount of people that are visiting ER on a daily basis after hours?
Okay, thank you. Before, at an average, we have been seeing about 120 to 130 patients in the emergency room over a 24-hour period. Yesterday, we opened our non-urgent clinic, and the idea of opening this non-urgent, where more critical patients are seen. These are the critical patients that require time to be seen and to be taken care of. The waiting time in the emergency room has been those that are non-urgent, non-emergency, that wait in the emergency room to be seen while the attention is being given to the sick and to the critical cases. So what we're doing here is to triage, identify those, and when they come into the emergency room, we triage them and we see who is urgent, who is non-urgent, who is emergency, and who is not an emergency, and we direct the non-urgent cases to the non-urgent clinic for them to be seen there. We just opened this yesterday. We are looking at getting and recording our waiting time in the emergency room and in the non-urgent clinic, and we also will be checking on the number of people that are attending emergency room, and those that are attending the non-urgent clinic will be analyzing those data so that at the end of a month we will review those data, and if changes needs to be made, it will be made accordingly. Changes in terms of whether we need to extend the hours of the operation. Right now we open from 4 in the afternoon to 8 in the evening, and we chose that time because what we have seen in the past, that is the peak hours that most of our people come to the emergency room. So we're using that time, that peak hours for now, to take care of those that comes to the emergency room that are non-urgent. And as we analyze this data in the next 30 days, we will be able to know whether we need to make some changes on those schedule. And those changes will mean either we extend the hours or we expand the resources that we are going to use for these cases. As of now, what we are doing, we are just splitting our staff who are currently working in the emergency room. Rather than keeping 5 doctors in the emergency room, we are taking 2 away from there and putting them in the non-urgent clinic that will take care of the non-urgent cases, while the other 3 are still in the operating room, still in the emergency room to take care of the critical and the serious cases. In terms of nursing staffing, we are not taking away any nurse who are in the ward. We are utilizing the clinic nurses. When the clinic closes at 4, we roster the clinic nurses to be working and to have that extra 4 hours to keep this clinic open. That is what we're doing right now. So we are not getting any additional resources from outside. We are utilizing our present existing resources, but we are changing the way we are doing things. And as I said, at the end of these 30 days, we are going to evaluate and assess what we are doing and see where we are going, whether it is working and whether it is meeting our objectives or no. And if it is not, we're going to see how and what changes can we do so that we can meet that objective. And the objective here, as almost everyone on this island know, you ask them what is the problem and the issue when you come to hospital emergency room, the answer is waiting time. So we are trying to address the most common, pressing issue right now, and that is to reduce the waiting time. Even though our waiting time is still within the national average of 2 to 3 hours, our waiting time, based on the analysis that we have done in the last 12 months, was 1 to 3 hours. It's still within that. We're trying to do this to try and improve the services and the care that we provide. So that is our goal.
Thank you, Dr. Lindua. I'm glad you mentioned the waiting hours, because that's one of the many complaints of members of the public is the amount of hours they spent in the ER waiting for a doctor to see them. Some of the reports that we have been receiving is that even if it's just one person in the ER, they still wait for about an hour to see a doctor. But I'm glad you addressed that. My next question, when Director Motusar and Chairman appeared before the Senate recently, Motusar mentioned that there were some DOH nurses that were helping out with LBJ. Are those nurses still working here at the LBJ now?
I think the agreement was some of those nurses, they are going to deploy them and work temporarily. I don't really know exactly how many are working and how many have been working. I know we were supposed to be getting 10 registered nurses. I think the numbers that I got, it has been less than that. There has been, I think, 2 or 3, but mainly the ones that we've been getting are mainly LPNs. We're going to go back to that and review that, and then we're going to talk with the Department of Health and review those commitment and agreement that we have had and see if we can get the numbers that has been agreed upon and has been committed, to this process. And have them to take care of our nursing shortage as of now.
This new urgent clinic, urgent care, non-urgent care clinic, is this in addition to the non-urgent care clinic with the Department of Health that was recently announced by the hospital and the Department of Health?
Yes, thank you. Very good question. What we have seen, as you have known, during the flu outbreak last year, we had a combined press release with the Department of Health on the opening of their non-urgent clinic in Whangaalu from 12 noon to 8 in the evening. And the reason for doing that was to take away the traffic and the congestion in the emergency room so that they can take care of these non-urgent cases and we can focus on that. What we have observed and what we have seen after analyzing our data last year was that it was not impacting our goals in the emergency room. And what we have noted is that while we see in the emergency room 120 to 130 patients during a 24-hour period, there will be an average of 10 patients seen at the Department of Health. It ranges from 2, 3 up to about 25 to 30. That is the range, so an average of about 10 patients. And what we have when we talk with our patients that have been coming to the emergency room, they say that they would prefer and rather be seen in the emergency room for a lot of reasons. And that there's a lot of factors with that, and one of that is that they prefer to be seen under the same roof where everything is provided. The lab is provided, X-ray is there, whatever care that they need is right there, under the same roof, which is convenient. And as it is our goal to make sure that patients' needs are met. It is ethical that whatever patient wants and whatever that is a patient's right, that we serve them and we take care of them, when they come to see us. And we cannot send any patient away if they decide to come and be seen at our emergency room. It's non-urgent clinic, and to keep it in-house. For that reason. And we know that after analyzing that data, we know it will not make any difference to the waiting time, waiting time in the emergency room if we continue to allow that system to go on. So it was after that analysis that we decided to just redirect our patient care in-house to a non-urgent clinic that we have identified using the same resources that we have, but redirecting it the other way so that we can take care of the patients when they come in, but this time get them away from the emergency room and divide the staff that we have so that we can reduce the waiting time, which is the most common complaint right now in the emergency room.
And our goal actually is to get to a 30-minute waiting time. Our goal actually is to get to a 30-minute waiting time. That's the international standard that we're working towards.
30 minutes.
That will be great.
Thank you. Dr. Ladua, it's been mentioned by some staff here that you will be leaving for Alaska as you have a residency there. Is that true?
I have been offered a job in Alaska. As of now, there has not been any determined date yet. But as I said, we are here at this time, and we have got a job to do. As of now, we're going to do the work that has been given to us to do here at LBJ.
So you haven't decided if you're going to take up the job?
It is a matter of time that will be determined.
So I see here the statement that you provided. It says here 20 new nursing positions, and we already have a nursing shortage within our existing wards and clinics. Wouldn't this make matters worse for our nurses? Now I understand that you've mentioned that there will be nurses coming in the next month, but I'm asking about this within this month and before the new nurses come. Wouldn't this make matters worse for our nurses? You've mentioned that the staff at the ER are going to be divided. Wouldn't this make matters worse for our nurses?
No, I don't think it will make matters worse because, as I said, the nurses that we are utilizing, the staff that we are utilizing in the non-urgent clinic are clinic nurses and does not involve the nurses that are rostered and are working in the ward. Remember, the clinic nurses, they start at 8 and they finish at 4 in the evening and they go home. But rather than them going home, we roster them to spend an extra 4 hours. And that has been left to the nursing, chief of nursing, to schedule the clinic nurses. Either they will have 2 hours each and two sets of.
So I'm grateful you mentioned the chief of nursing, because I do understand that is one of the grievances that was brought up by the nurses, was they addressed the removal of the chief of nursing. Will the current chief of nursing be replaced?
Not that I know of.
Chief nursing will report to me. We are going through a period of evaluation and see what metrics. Before I arrived, I sent a long briefing to the board and the lieutenant governor. There will be a town hall with all the nursing staff and to identify changes that can be made. The current CNO has extensive experience. That is of great asset, that's of great value, and trying to capitalize her knowledge and experience, but also to listen carefully to the needs of the nurses. Well, that will be the way we will solve this issue. And again, this is the plan that I've actually discussed with Dr. Ladua and the board.
So I just had one last question from regarding the late CEO, since he served the former CEO. I'm sorry. Since he served less than 1 year of his contract, how much will he be paid a settlement from?
Well, his contract is confidential. I don't imagine you would want your employer disclosing the terms of your employment contract. I think that's beyond the scope of what we as employers are allowed to disclose. He will be paid through the terms of his contract. He's not being shortchanged in any respect with regard to his employment contract. We're abiding by the agreement just as he is required to abide by it.
I have a question, one last question for the board, please. What assurance that the next CEO hired by the board will carry out his duties accordingly or up to par with hospital guidelines, or just doing his duties or his or her duties as a CEO? Because the board did hire this former CEO.
And I take full responsibility of the whole process, like mentioned by the legal advisor. He was involved. With this recent occurrences, we reviewed it with the legal, and there was a clean selection, all by the book. So I stand by what we did. Now, moving forward, that is a very key question also, because obviously there are things that you don't, it's not revealed with your fancy resume and your history. Even though there was history of, but there was nothing with our screening and our background, our legal cleaning that was illegal. But moving forward, you know, I asked the question that I would ask if I work under a CEO. Will this person like me? Will this person help me? And can I trust this person? So with that approach, we're looking at ways to, you know, to really make a better decision, and somebody that can really pull the job, even if it's you know, we're going to open it up to
Thing. I heard about this job in July. The board met, saw my, right? The board actually gave clear instructions to Bill Emsley about what they wanted done, right? And I'm only going to speak to myself, right? You'll realize that perhaps Bill had a different direction than what the board had, and there's a difference. You know, hiring someone and thinking that he will execute what you want him to do, or what you believe you have a common mission and you have reached agreement, and then you find out that that person has a different direction, a different sensibility, different ideas, and he refuses, is insubordinate in fulfilling those directions that he's directly given. That's a problem, right? Again, we thank Bill for, you know, being willing.
Are you saying he's insubordinate?
I'm just saying that if he was told, I cannot speak, but if he was told to hire me, 6 months pass, and the only reason why I'm here is that the vice chair of the board directly got the deal done, right? Right? The person that was supposed to get the deal, the person that gave me direct verbal assurances in December, finally, right? When I asked for those assurances in writing, right, didn't come. I finally asked that verbally, I asked that in writing. That's on January 4th. And then when I finally keep sending, where's this in writing, the vice chair of the board had to step in and to get that done. Now, I'm only speaking to myself. I cannot speak to any other confidential matter. But I will just tell you, the process of coming here, for someone that I know, I've always known this was the right job. For the reasons I've already disclosed. I've always known this is the right job, and I am blocked. I'm blocked by someone who is basically unwilling to follow the directions that the board has given him. What is the board supposed to do? What should they do?
Thank you, Dr. Shumway. If I could add on behalf of the board to what Chairman has voiced, I want our people to feel confident. We all make mistakes. We all deserve the benefit of the doubt. okay? If I can remind our people that Mr. Bill Emsley was part of the board of directors. He was a member of the board of directors. All of us who came into this mission, into this cause, we had a collective understanding as board of directors. And if I can also remind our people that the board was simultaneously working on a number of very significant changes at the top level. And having somebody who was already a member of the board of directors, who collectively committed to this mission, we felt, after reviewing all of the other applications and going through the inner fruition, as long as Mr. Bill Emsley was CEO. So we asked the community to please put their trust in the board. We assure you that moving forward, whether it's Dr. Lane Dua or not, although many of us have spent the last 20 years here with Dr. Lane Dua, we trust that the next CEO will be one that will commit to this mission and dedicate to this mission so we all can move forward. And we just ask the people of American Samoa to trust us, and we'll move forward. Thank you.
Can I just ask?
One more question, please.
Sure.
Sorry. While you're, sorry, you, your lawyer said that he's going to be paid up his full contract, but he didn't live up to the expectations or his obligations to the hospital. What is the fairness in that? These are taxpayers' money that Bill is being paid. So, what is? Any comments to?
Sure, I'll take that. So, you're asking whether he breached his employment contract by not promptly hiring the new consultant, right? That is not a direct.
No, that's not my.
That is basically your question. You're asking, did he breach his employment contract? Is he entitled to be paid
So
out?
that's just one reason why that the board let him go? It's
No,
because
it's-
he didn't hire?
No, it was a difference in no, it really wasn't. They went into it together with the same vision, and those visions departed. So, is that a breach of his employment contract? Not at this time. Not that we've seen, right? If something comes to light that reveals that it was a breach of his employment contract and that he's not entitled to his compensation, then we'll deal with it at that time. But right now, what happened didn't rise to the level of a breach of his contract. So we can't withhold payment from someone who's entitled to it. There's no legal justification for us to do that, no matter how people are angered or disappointed in the situation.
Like, perhaps you can answer this question for Mole. I know that there is an investigation going on at the moment, and I'm also aware of the fact that 3 staff of LBJ have been put on administrative leave pending the outcome of that investigation. Can I ask, what is the board investigating, please?
Well, there's 3 separate issues with these individuals. So they're not all related. These are issues that need to be addressed. They are not interrelated issues in any particular way. It's just a review of how they are performing their duties at LBJ and whether they should continue to be able to perform their duties at LBJ. Just like any employee, if there's information that comes to light that we feel that they are not performing to standard or are not living up to ethical standards that we expect of LBJ employees, we are going to review that employment status. And that is really the process we're at right now. It is not necessarily that we are have found anything at this point that would be determinative of their employment status, but we imagine we had justification to have them put on leave.
Thank you, Bucky. Final question from KVZK. Mr. Chairman, I referred to the press release here. I think it's paragraph 1, 2, 3, 4, and it says here these efforts require many helping hands from our government leaders. What help do you want from the government leaders?
You know, we already have the help that we're asking for. Both all the way from the Senate, the House, the governor. They have been helping us, especially with the recent event. The code annotated. Some of the problems we're running into is we're locked by the law, by the codes, and these are things that we're working right now. You know, we're fortunate we have a legislator as a director to address these things, and these are things that takes time and amendments, write-ups, and review. But those are key things. Does that address your question?
I had a question from Chairman and Vice Chairman. When do your terms expire from the morning?
We were approved for 2 years, so March.
March.
Yes.
Will you continue serving after?
It all depends. You know, one thing that I need to bring out, that's the other thing that the code it covers. You know, it's a full-time job, and we have our own operation. My clinic, my patient sits shut down for only 125 a week, and these are because of the code. And we need. It's not. I'm very honored to be in this and to help because it helps me too. But yes, March is. And it all depends on the governor. It's he who.
If I could answer
yeah.
that as the vice chair, my answer to that question is yes.
Mhm.
If we have the blessing of our governor and lieutenant governor and our Senate and our House, I'm committed to this 100%. If this becomes a lifelong journey for as long as I am breathing, I will commit to this for our people. So thank you for the question.
So referring back to the statement from Mongolia, it says here on paragraph 4, it states, we must eliminate duplicate services and corruption. Corruption, what corruption are you referring to from Mongolia? Because it seems this is a statement by the LBJ, so are you implying that there's corruption in our hospital from Mongolia?
I can speak to that. There's a reason why LBJ is the way it is today, right? There's a reason. And don't know how, don't know why, but that usually signifies that money that was designed to put on a roof, wax the floors, upgrade equipment, has disappeared somewhere. All I know is that I know how to get the assets, track, inventory, establish metrics, performance for our staff, pay attention to our finances, and to make sure that as we improve those systems and put more money on the table so we can actually rebuild LBJ, that new money that appears on the table does not drop off the table into someone's pocket, right? I've dealt with corruption in China. I've dealt with corruption in Qatar. I don't know what is here. All I know is that I'm looking at a facility that needs lots of repairs, right?
You mentioned repairs as in the staff, or repairs as in what?
The physical plant. The physical plant was evaluated by the Army Corps of Engineers. They gave replacement costs, and those, as you look at the final paragraph on the statement, that Corps of Engineer report, which is years old, will need to be taken to the governor and the lieutenant governor's office, and for us to have a heart-to-heart talk about what is the future of healthcare for the people of Samoa, of American Samoa.
No, I think that's sufficient.
Thank you.
That's all from us, Chairman, unless you would like to make some final comments before we wrap things up.
I don't know about your schools. I don't know about your ports. I don't know about your roads. I'm told there's buildings that are cracking because the foundation wasn't properly done. I don't know. I don't frankly care. I have only the bandwidth to deal with healthcare, right? But this is going to be it's going to be a sacred area of trust. We cannot steal the money from our children, from our elderly. We cannot deny people services that have been paid for because someone has taken the money, right?
Thank you. Yeah, lau fionga le te fono la tu tuele nei ava noa mo sa nga muli fa mai ai tatu fa mo bal o tele fa ftai.
Okay, thank you. Like I said in the beginning, this was way overdue, and this is something that was in the pipeline for us to have these kind of press conferences to open up to the public. It's our hospital. It's all of us. My hospital too. We have all suffered, or we've known loved ones, family, brothers that have been subjected to the low quality of care. And that's the drive that we are here for. It's unnecessary. Let's all chip in together and help. I do not like to hear when people say that Olfan Mayoki. Nobody, the name of this hospital is LBJ Board of Directors. The world knows that name. They don't know that other name. And who named it, that other name, but us? So, ole, al mga kukuha o pabongponga po ilpa iyola kung kay mula bangawa. So swangi mai ka kolim fa kasi. Wala ko mukumu labol ka ko media I. Isa nganga mukuskusi ngalema ka mukye. Yemolo falo kedi.
O le nā wa whafonga mai le tātou tunu o I le whamomoe o le pōlenga ai le ngā te lea o le komiti whaafoe o le LBJ po le mauta ngase tu sai foi mal whaatalaranga ma lau tu stala le nei foi vaenga o le afiafi ia moni atu le whaafatai le tātou tunu o whaatasi mai lunga o tātou penga te whailangi le ngā te lea o le tātou televisi KVZK ia mo le nei whaamomoe tāua ia ma la whaamuta tu foi ma le aonanga le KVZK mai nei I le mauta ngase whanga anu la tu te riwatu o tātou whaasalalanga o le tātou ofisa au tū I whangatongo.